Today we're going to start off with chapter number 15, which is monopoly. In the last chapter, we studied about how perfectly competitive firms make their pricing and output decisions. So in this particular chapter, we're going to study about how monopoly makes its pricing and output decision. Perfectly competitive firm के हवाले से हमने ये conclude किया था कि जहाँ तक उसका pricing और output decision की बात है, so as far as pricing decision is concerned, वो एक perfectly competitive firm के इख्तियार में नहीं है to set its own price level. Firms in perfectly competitive market are price taker, जो market में price set कर ली गई, they have to take that as given. हाँ, output के हवाले से हम कह सकते हैं कि perfectly competitive firm को इख्तियार है to set their own output level, and the way they decide कि हमें इतना produce करना है is by using the criteria of profit maximization. ठीक है? And they end up producing an output level which tends to maximize their profit. यही हम जो है ना दो सवालात के प्राइस और आउटपुट डिसीजन किस तरह डिटरमिन किया जाता है, we're going to ask the same question in the context of monopoly. फर्क ये है कि monopoly is the polar opposite of perfectly competitive market. You can see that a firm is considered a monopoly if it's a sole seller of its product and the product does not have any close substitutes. So here we're talking about a pure monopoly where there is only one firm operating in the economy. अब ये जो फर्म है, इट्स अ प्राइस मेकर, ठीक है, वो अपनी प्राइस खुद सेट करती है और जाहिर सी बात है कि प्रोडक्शन डिसीजन भी उसको खुद ही सेट करना है. सो अ मोनोपोली जो है ना, we have to study in this chapter how does the monopoly makes this pricing decision and this output decision. और आप इस चैप्टर में जानेंगे कि ये decisions are also made under the principle of profit maximization. A monopoly ends up choosing a price and an output level which tends to maximize its profit. Okay, so before we move on to answering as to how monopoly make their pricing and output decision, first you need to understand why monopolies arise. Okay, why do we see monopoly in the economy? For this particular chapter, I'm going to make use of my handouts. So first of all, let's just look at the reasons as to why monopoly arises. Now, the fundamental cause of monopoly is barriers to entry. Okay? So a monopoly arises because new firms cannot enter into this market. Now, what are the reasons for barriers to entry? There are three particular reasons which have been identified in this handout. Pehla reason hai, that's ownership of a key resource. Yeah, so sometimes a firm has only access, but one firm has the access to a key resource. ठीक है, एक firm के पास access है of a key input which is used in the production process. So जाहिर सी बात है that firm is going to enjoy monopoly in the production and sale of that product. For example, De Beers, it owns most of the world diamond mines. ठीक है, so ये जो company है, it owns most of the world diamond mines. So zahir si baat hai, this company will have a monopoly in the production and sale of diamond products. Okay, so if I have access to the inputs which are used in making steel, so zahir si baat hai, I will enjoy a monopoly in the production and sale of steel products. So pehla point yehi hai ki if a firm has the only access to a key resource, so zahir si baat hai, that firm is going to enjoy a monopoly in the production and sale of that product. Now, the other reason why monopoly arises is because of the government. Okay? So the government gives single firm the exclusive right to produce and sell the product. Example, patents and copyrights. So some of the monopolies, they are government created monopolies, जहां गवर्नमेंट जो है ना खाली कुछ फर्म्स को एक्सक्लूसिव राइट देती है टू प्रोड्यूस एंड सेल द प्रोडक्ट. And the way it can do it is by awarding patents or copyrights to these firms. मैं थोड़ा सा यहाँ क्लैरिफाई कर दूं कि पेटेंट्स और कॉपीराइट्स क्या होते हैं. पेटेंट्स जो है ना, दे यूजुअली गिवन ऑन इन्वेंशंस. ठीक है, सो इफ यू इन्वेंट समथिंग, you're going to go to approach the government, unka jo bhi legal department, and you're going to ask for a patent. When you win a patent, that patent, it gives you a legal right to produce and sell the product. अगर कोई और firm आपका product replicate करके सेल करना शुरू हो जाएगी, तो you can take legal action against those firms. So जो pharmaceutical companies हैं, जैसे अगर आजकल का सिनेरियो डिस्कस किया जाए कि the major pharmaceutical companies are actually racing with one another to find a vaccine for COVID-19. So any company which will become successful in doing so, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to apply for a patent कि कोई दूसरी कंपनी उसको replicate ना कर सके. देखिए ये patents और copyrights important है in order to promote research and development. You need to realize that R&D या जो research and development है, it is very costly and a time-consuming process. There are companies which are investing billions of dollars in, researching and developing new products. तो जाहिर सी बात है जो companies successful हो जाएंगी in developing these products, they would like to, reap benefits out of that product. क्योंकि उनकी इतनी investment लगी है उस product की creation में, so they would surely like कि they're going to earn profit out of the product. So patents जो है ना, they actually encourage firms to indulge or to invest in R&D. ठीक है, अगर R&D अगर उनको ये प्रोटेक्शन ना हासिल हो कि जो ये जो चीज प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं ये कल को जब मार्केट में आएगी तो कोई भी दूसरी कंपनी उसको आराम से रेप्लिकेट कर देगी एंड इट्स गोइंग टू सेल एंड मेक प्रॉफिट आउट ऑफ इट. तो अगर ये किसी कंपनी को फीलिंग हो, दे आर नेवर गोइंग टू इन्वेस्ट इन R&D इन द फर्स्ट प्लेस. सो patents and copyrights are very important for promoting R&D in the market. So patents are basically awarded on inventions. Usually patents कुछ साल के लिए होते हैं. For example, अगर patent 10 साल के लिए है तो जो कंपनी है उसको 10 साल के लिए exclusive right होगा to produce and sell the product. Copyrights, on the other hand, they are awarded on on protecting any novel idea. Okay, so these are awarded for ideas. Okay, so if you have put forward a new idea, तो उसको protect करने के लिए या आप इस तरह के मतलब तो हाँ उसको protect करने के लिए copyrights are given. So it's awarded for इस तरह कह लें आप creation of new ideas. Okay. So for example, there's a singer who comes up with this new song. ये उसकी तख्लीक है ना, उसका idea है. So he would like to protect it, and in order to do so, he applies for a copyright कि खाली मेरे पास copyright हो to produce and sell the product. अगर कोई और उसको copy करेगी तो the singer can take legal action against the person or the company who is cheating or taking his idea and selling it and making money out of it. Movies में भी आप देखते हैं, आप एक मूवी का जब क्रेडिट चलता है तो आपको बड़ा साफ वो नजर आता है कि ये मूवी जो है ना it's a copyright of this company, so no other company जो है ना can copy or run that particular movie without the consent of the original copyright holder. Okay, so that's the other reason why monopoly arises. And the last reason why monopoly arises is because of natural monopoly. इसको मैं थोड़ा सा ऊपर ले जाती हूँ. Or if I can just move it over here, yeah. Much better now. Okay, and the third reason why monopoly arises is because of natural monopoly. Yes, हमने अभी तक दो reason discuss किए हैं as to why monopoly arises. One is because of ownership of a key resource. The second is because of patents and copyrights. And the third reason that we're going to discuss is because of natural monopoly. मैं सबसे पहले तो ये चीज clarify कर दूं कि natural monopoly has nothing to do with natural resources. ठीक है, अमूमन students confuse करते हैं कि अगर कोई natural resource की production की बात है तो that is going to be that will fall under the market structure of a monopoly. ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है. Natural monopoly की definition is as follows. A natural monopoly arises when there are economies of scale over a relevant range of output. Okay? So natural monopoly को समझने के लिए सबसे पहले तो आपको समझना पड़ेगा कि ये economies of scale क्या चीज होती है. Okay? So in order to explain you economies of scale, I need to move back to chapter number 13, which was the cost of production. ये मैंने chapter number 13 की आपको slides नजर आ रही हैं. मैंने जो है ना short run cost curves आपको मतलब we started the short run cost curves, but unfortunately I didn't move on to discuss the long run cost curves. We discussed that in the short run the average total cost is U-shaped, and इत्तेफाक से the long run average cost curve is also U-shaped. मैं इसकी डेरिवेशन पे नहीं जा रही, मैं बहुत कोई डिटेल एक्सप्लेनेशन आपको यहाँ नहीं दे रही, but just keep this in mind कि जो long run average cost curve है ना, it's actually the lower envelope of all the short run average cost curves. Okay? So I already explained to you कि short run average cost curves U-shaped होते हैं, and the reason actually followed from the law of diminishing MPL. So given these short run average cost curve, अगर मैं आपसे कहूँ to derive the long run average cost curve, the long run average cost curve is going to be the lower envelope of all the short run average cost curve. ठीक है? Envelope, I hope आप समझ रहे हो what we mean by an envelope. मतलब envelope में आप चीजें रखते हैं ना, तो बिल्कुल आप वही चीज यहाँ देख रहे हैं कि it is like the lower boundary of all the short run average cost curves. इसकी full derivation में हम नहीं जा रहे, बस I'm just showing you the final shape of the long run average cost curve. It's also U-shaped, as you can see. Now, why is it U-shaped? Okay. The reason why it's U-shaped is because of economies and diseconomies of scale. I'll just briefly go over what do we mean by economies and diseconomies of scale. देखिए, जब economies of scale refers to the property whereby long run average total cost falls as quantity of output increases. In other words, जब ये average total cost fall कर रहा है, इसको कहते हैं economies of scale. And why does the average total cost fall in the beginning? That is because of specialization. ये जो word यहाँ लिखा हुआ है ना, specialization. शुरू में जब आप आउटपुट इंक्रीज करते हैं तो टोटल कॉस्ट इंक्रीज तो होती है, लेकिन it tends to increase slowly because of specialization of resources. जैसे आप शुरू में जब आप प्रोडक्शन इंक्रीज करते हैं ना, the workers and the machines they tend to learn by doing the task. Okay, ये चीज सेकंड पॉइंट में लिखी हुई है कि economies of scale occurs when increasing size allows increasingly specialized equipment and increasingly specialized labor, both of which increases output beyond the level of increased inputs. So in simple words, शुरू में जब आप output increase करेंगे, तो that means कि शुरू में जब आप inputs hire करेंगे, those inputs are going to be more productive. So शुरू में total cost increase तो होगी, लेकिन it's going to increase slowly. But later on, diseconomies of scale sets in. This is the property whereby long run average total cost curve rises as quantity of output increases, and this occurs because of coordination problems. And then we have something which we call the constant returns to scale. This is a property whereby long run average total cost curve stays the same as quantity of output increases. So just to summarize as to what I've said so far, so here this is my long run average cost curve. When my long run average cost curve is declining, ये जो yellow phase आपको नजर आ रहा है, this is called economies of scale. ये जो बीच वाला intermediate stage है ना, जहां average total cost curve constant है, ये constant तब होगा when increase in Q is followed by an an equal increase in total cost. Remember, average total cost is total cost divided by Q. So average total cost constant उस सूरत पे होगा when increase in the denominator term, which is if increase in Q is equal to its increase in the numerator term, which is the total cost. So ये intermediate stage है और end पे the diseconomies of scale sets in. That is where increase in output is followed by increase in the average cost of production. So this graph, it makes sense. शुरू में जब आप output increase करते हैं, your inputs, मतलब कि शुरू में जब आप output increase करेंगे ना, now each labor will learn from production. ठीक है, तो एक अगर लेबर पहले प्रोडक्शन करने में वो 10 घंटे मतलब 1 घंटे लगाता था, तो as production increases he is going to learn by doing the task. So जो पहले टास्क 1 घंटे में कंप्लीट करता था, now he can finish it in let's suppose 30 minutes. So यही वजह है कि शुरू में जब आप आउटपुट इंक्रीज करते हैं तो average total cost is going to decline in the beginning. लेकिन eventually a point is going to come when increase in output will result in increase in the total cost of production, and this arises because of diseconomies of scale. यहाँ कंपनीज इतनी बड़ी हो गई है, एक फर्म इतनी बड़ी हो गई है कि उसको हैंडल करना मुश्किल है. You have to hire additional managers and of course these managers are expensive, जिसकी वजह से अब क्वांटिटी के इंक्रीज होने से टोटल कॉस्ट बड़ी तेजी से इंक्रीज होने शुरू हो जाएगी. So coming back to what we were discussing, natural monopoly arises when there are economies of scale over a relevant range of output. देखिए बहुत सी ऐसी इंडस्ट्रीज हैं which tend to experience this economies of scale, यानी their average total cost of production tends to fall as Q increases, and they tend to experience this phenomena for a very large units of output. ठीक है, so there are few companies where which tend to experience this phenomena of economies of scale for a very large amount of Q. So if we have such an industry, ऐसी industry में it makes sense to have 1 or 2 big firms in operation. क्योंकि आप देख सकते हैं in such an industry, as production is increasing, so is the average total cost of production. Okay? So ऐसी कंपनी में अगर आप 500 यूनिट्स प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, आपकी एवरेज कॉस्ट इज $80, but once you increase your production to $1,000, your average total cost falls to $50. तो हमने अंदाजा ये लगाया कि ये ऐसी इंडस्ट्री है जहां आउटपुट के इंक्रीज होने से एवरेज टोटल कॉस्ट डिक्लाइन कर रही है. सो ऐसी इंडस्ट्री में इट मेक्स मोर सेंस to allow one firm to produce 1,000 units rather than allowing 2 firms to produce 500 units. क्योंकि देखो अगर इस सिनेरियो में मैं 2 firms को allow करती हूँ and I'm assuming कि दोनों firms have the similar average total cost curve, so each firm will have an average total cost of $80. यानी per unit cost उसको on average जो पड़ रही होगी that is going to be $80. So ये बेहतर नहीं है इस सिनेरियो से कि यू अलाउ 1 बिग फर्म टू प्रोड्यूस, यानी 2 की बजाय आप कहें कि जो एक फर्म है वो ही प्रोड्यूस करे, वही पूरा 1000 यूनिट्स प्रोड्यूस करे, एंड एज अ रिजल्ट per unit cost of production is going to fall to 50. So in such an industry which tend to experience economies of scale over a very large range of output, in such an industry it makes sense to have 1 big firm in operation, and that firm is referred to as a natural monopoly. ठीक है, in this industry it is but natural to have 1 or 2 big firms in industry, and those 1 or 2 big firms are referred to as natural monopoly. ठीक हो गई बात. So I'll give you a very common example of natural monopoly. हमारी जो utilities हैं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल वॉपडा है, वासा है, पाकिस्तान रेलवे है, दीज आर एग्जाम्पल ऑफ नेचुरल मोनोपोलीज. ठीक है, यू कैन व्हाई आर दे कॉल्ड नेचुरल मोनोपोलीज? देखिए ये सारी ऐसी इंडस्ट्रीज हैं व्हिच रिक्वायर वेरी ह्यूज अपफ्रंट कॉस्ट. ठीक है, इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट बहुत ज्यादा है इन इंडस्ट्रीज में. कंसिडर वॉब्डा. वॉब्डा ने, लेट्स सपोज it made huge investment in building a dam. ठीक है, उसने ये डैम कंस्ट्रक्ट किया एंड यू नो दैट डैम्स आर सो एक्सपेंसिव. ठीक है, डैम की जो कंस्ट्रक्शन है इट्स वेरी एक्सपेंसिव. सो लेट्स सपोज कि वॉब्डा जो है ना वो मतलब इट लेज आउट इलेक्ट्रिक लाइंस. ठीक है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की लाइनें वो बिछाता है so that it can provide electricity to village A. ठीक है, so let's suppose this is village A. अब सवाल ये है कि इसके बिल्कुल adjoining एक और village है, that is village B. Now my question to you is, does it make sense for this one company to expand its production and provide electricity to village B, or does it make sense to allow another company to come in? Now that company will have to set up its own हाइडल प्लांट. ठीक है, उसको अपना एक डैम फिर से कंस्ट्रक्ट करना पड़ेगा, बिजली की तारें ऑल द वे बिछानी पड़ेंगी फ्रॉम द डैम टू विलेज बी. तो which of the two scenarios make more sense to you people? अगर बिजली आपने विलेज बी में प्रोवाइड करनी है which is just adjacent or just neighbor है of village A, does it make more sense to allow this existing electric company to provide electricity to village B, or does it make sense to allow another company to come in and provide electricity to village B? Of course, sensible decision यहाँ ये है कि एक ही फर्म को अलाउ करें कि आप सिंस ए में बिजली प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं तो बी में प्रोवाइड करने में कोई खास उसके खर्चे में इजाफा नहीं होगा, बल्कि उसकी एवरेज कॉस्ट कम ही होगी बिकॉज इट्स फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट विल नाउ बी डिवाइडेड ओवर अ लार्जर रेंज ऑफ आउटपुट. सो इफ यू रिमेंबर एवरेज टोटल कॉस्ट का जो फॉर्मूला है ना, दैट इज टोटल कॉस्ट. ठीक है, इट्स टोटल कॉस्ट डिवाइडेड बाय Q here. So as Q is increasing, your fixed cost is going to be now divided over a large range of Q. So ऐसी इंडस्ट्री में देखिए वॉब्डा इट फेसेस अ सिमिलर डिलेमा कि उसने ऑलरेडी बहुत ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट कर दी है, तो वो विलेज ए में बिजली फराहम करे और फिर एक्सटेंड कर दे टू प्रोवाइड इलेक्ट्रिसिटी टू विलेज बी, वो उसके लिए इतना मुश्किल नहीं है. रादर देन फॉर अ न्यू फर्म टू कम इन, set up its plant and then set up its electric lines all the way to village B, वो ज्यादा मुश्किल है, वो ज्यादा कॉस्टली है. So इस सिनेरियो में it makes sense to have one big firm in operation. वॉब्डा को अगर 500 वॉट बिजली फराहम करने में $80 लगता है, तो अगर एडजेसेंट विलेज में वो 500 और घरों को कवर कर लेगी, यानी अगर 1000 घरों में वो बिजली फराहम करेगी तो उसकी per unit cost is decreasing to 50. So it makes more sense for one firm to, allow one firm to operate in this particular industry. पाकिस्तान रेलवे की भी एग्जाम्पल सिमिलर है. पाकिस्तान रेलवे ने ऑलरेडी जो है ना, इट हैज made all this initial investment. उसके पास ट्रेन्स मौजूद हैं, इंजन्स मौजूद हैं, लोकोमोटिव वर्कशॉप्स बनाई हुई हैं पाकिस्तान रेलवे ने. तो अगर रेलवे लाइन आपने कराची से फिलहाल आपने अगर टेक्सला तक बिछाई दी है, तो टेक्सला से अटक बिछाने में उसी कंपनी को, पाकिस्तान रेलवे को, कोई ज्यादा खर्चा नहीं उठाना पड़ेगा. रादर देन इफ यू अलाउ अ प्राइवेट कंपनी कि वो जो है ना कराची से ऑल द वे वो लाइन बिछाए टू अटक, वो ज्यादा मतलब it's more expensive to do that. So in this scenario, it makes more sense कि एक ही कंपनी को अलाउ करें कि they do the entire production. अगर डिमांड है टू अगर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की एग्जांपल दोबारा ले लें, अगर डिमांड है टू प्रोवाइड इलेक्ट्रिसिटी टू 100 हाउस होल्ड, इट मेक्स मोर सेंस कि एक ही हाउस होल्ड को, एक ही कंपनी को अलाउ करें कि आप ही जो है ना ये 1000 हाउस होल्ड को बिजली फराहम करें. And that one firm is called a natural monopoly. So classic example of natural monopolies is Pakistan Railway, PIA भी कुछ हद तक हम कह सकते हैं. Then we have WAPDA, PASA. ठीक है, so इन सेक्टर्स में it makes sense कि एक दो बड़ी फर्म ही जो है ना वो ऑपरेट करे मार्केट में. अच्छा, इन तीन फैक्टर्स के अलावा there's also another factor which results in monopoly, which can be the first mover advantage. ठीक है, ये मैं यहाँ let me just write it down over here as well. It's the first mover advantage. So sometimes होता ये है कि जो पहला मूवर होता है, the first person to come into the market, वो इतना छा जाता है मार्केट में कि एक नई फर्म को उस मार्केट में फिर एंटर करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. So sometimes the first mover, you know, it captivates the entire market. So then it doesn't leave provision for any newcomer to come into the market and, give competition to the first mover. So ये एक और possibility हो सकती है which can result in monopoly. I can give you a imaginary example. Let's suppose, आप telecommunication industry ले लें, although telecommunication industry is not an example of monopoly, लेकिन तस्वर करें कि we have these, मतलब Uphone है, Zong है, and these companies जो है ना कि अब छा गई हैं in the market. अब किसी नई telecommunication company का enter होना market में बड़ा मुश्किल है, and that company will require a huge amount of money. Marketing उसका expenditure इतना ज़्यादा होना चाहिए कि it can, attract customers away from Uphone and Zong to this new company. तो उसके लिए मतलब ये जो है ना कि inherent barrier है to come in, because वो पहली दो companies इतनी छाई नहीं है market में कि एक किसी और company का अंदर आना और उसका survive करना इस market में, it's next to impossible now. All right, so these are some of the reasons as to why monopoly arises. So I'm just going to stop at this point then.